What's up, everybody? Team DDN here. We got another deck profile for you. This is actually Harry from Team Teemo. He's actually going to give a Cyber Dragon deck profile for you.
Alright, what's up, guys? Thanks to Team DDN for having me on your channel, and I'm going to do a deck profile for the Unstoppable Cyber Dragon deck, the best out there, so pay attention. First, we'll start with the monsters. Traditionally, we are running 3 Cyber Dragons. No explanation needed. Oh, flip them? Okay.
They have to be facing the camera.
Okay. So 3 Cyber Dragons. This is a Cyber Dragon deck. Of course, you can run Cyber Dragons. And then we're running 3 Cyber Dragon cores. This is your main searcher. This is your Rhoda. You need to run 3. And when this card hits the graveyard, you can special summon a Cyber Dragon out of your deck by banishing it. So it's very good. Next, we're running 2 Cyber Dragon Dre. Some people like to run 3, but I found that 3 is cloggy. If you draw into more than 1 in your first hand, you will probably lose the game. So you run 2, and it's searchable, and you can bring it out with Cyber Dragon Core's effect by banishing it. Next, we have 3 Cyber Dragon Cyber Valleys. This is your secondary draw engine. What you do is you summon 1, you machine dupe into 2 more, and you get free draw off of that. And plus, it's good defense if they try to attack you. You just banish it in their battle phase and draw 1. Next, we're running 3 Swift Scarecrows. This is your primary defensive tactic against a lot of the OTKs OTK decks that are running rampant now in the meta. The idea for this deck is to protect yourself as long as you can, and for you to OTK your opponent. Next, we're running 2 Karkadis. This is your primary draw engine. What you do is summon Karkadi, use the effect, and hopefully go into a Scarecrow so you don't die. Next, the secret text, we have Mechlor, oh, what's it called? Mechlor Emperor Wiesel. For the amount of destruction that's going on in the meta today, he's very important. And secondary effect, he can he's an anti-synchro, so for all the Beals players, Stardust Dragons, all the difficult synchro monsters that you can't get over it, you just eat them up. And a lot of people are unaware of his last effect, which he can get a free spell negation every turn. And the last tech is the Cyber Eltani. This card is extremely good mid and late game. When you have difficulty removing monsters that can't be destroyed, like Dracosac, Beal, stuff like that, this card will send them to the grave. So you can get over a lot of things. Now we're on to our spells. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. I only run 2 because of the amount of OTK metas now that are not running any back row. And also because you're running 2 double cyclones. This is integral to your OTK combo, and I'll explain later. But what you can do in some situations is activate Mystical Space Typhoon, chain, and target your Mystical Space Typhoon, and you get 2 destructions on their side of the field. It's more adaptive than just running 3 Mysticals. Next, we have 2 Repair Plants. It's your searcher. It has 2 effects. One is to search for a light machine and put in your hand, or if you have 3 Cyber Dragons, you can put 1 back and then search for another one. It's searchable via Cyber Dragon Core, and I only run 2 because 3 is very cloggy. If you run 3 and you're hoping to use 3, you'll probably be dead by the time you use the second one. Next, we're running 2 Machine Dupes. This will set up your OTK for you, or set up the draw engine. You can dupe a Cyber Dragon Core and get 2 actual Cyber Dragons out just because of the ruling with the name. And you can dupe out 2 Cyber Valleys, and you'll get a draw off of that and a monster to defend yourself on the next turn. Next, we have 2 Power Bonds. This is your win condition. If the opponent underestimates you, or you get rid of their back row and they have nothing to respond, this will just win you the game straight up. Bring out Cyber Twin Dragon. It's a 58 beater and attack twice. Next, Book of Moon, standard. Limiter removal, standard in machine decks. Instant fusion. This is to go into a quick Cyber Dragon Nova by bringing out the bicycle guy. Another win condition is your Overload Fusion. Extremely good late game. And another potential use for this card is you use it early to pop your own Cyber Network. Secret Text. Quick Booster. It's extremely good in this deck because of how you can abuse limiter removal. And if you set it as a bluff and the opponent blows it up, you search for limiter removal and put it in your hand. For the same reason, we're running Spell Calling. You set it as a bluff, the opponent blows it up, you set limiter removal straight onto your field. Now we move on to traps. We're running 1 DNA Surgery. This already stops a lot of the meta decks out there, namely Boojins, Dragons, what have you. You flip this over and you call machines. Every time you summon a Cyber Dragon, you can contact fuse with the entire field. Next, we're running 1 breakthrough skill, just because. Torrential Tribute, pretty standard. And since this is an OTK-oriented deck, we're running 2 trap stuns for any back row they may have set to resist your OTKs. And then the last 2 traps, we're running 2 Cyber Networks. We're not running 3/3s cloggy. 1 is not enough in case you draw it early and it goes. So for those that don't know, the effect of this card is when you control a Cyber Dragon, you can activate this card and you'll banish a Light Machine monster from your deck out of the game. And when on the 3rd standby phase after the activation of this card, it will blow itself up, and all the Light Machine monster you have removed from the game, you can special summon them onto the field. So this is your OTK, and it is very, very good with the double cyclones. So ideally, you'll have this set or have it active, and wait until the end phase of your opponent's turn. Double cyclone your own network and their back row. Next turn, you'll probably have 5 Cyber Dragons on the field, and they will just die. And now we'll look at the extra deck.
Fire King Steve.
Special guest.
Special guest with us today is Fire King Steve.
Also,
Yaksha.
Yaksha, guys, get it.
Fire King.
Anyways, we run 1 Cyber Dragon Nova. It is enough to set up your OTK, and he's incredibly hard to... incredibly hard to remove, because there's repercussion for removing him from your side of the field. His effect is threefold. First, he can summon a Cyber Dragon from your graveyard. Second is he can boost his own attack by banishing. A lot of people don't know about the part that he can banish the Cyber Dragon from your hand, so essentially all the Cyber Dragon in your hand becomes an honest. And the third effect is if he gets removed by the opponent's card effects, you bring out a Cyber Fusion, a Machine Fusion from your extra deck, so Cyber Nova. And Secret Tech, Utopia Roots. This card goes off more than you think, because when you banish off of your Cyber Valleys for your draw and bring them back, you have nothing to do with them. They don't get their effect, and you just overlay them into Utopia Roots, and it's a nice card. Next, we have Zemayo, just because he's machine generic, and he blows a back row. Next, Pallades, MVP of the Cyber Dragon deck. He can get rid of a lot of problematic stuff. Sets up for your OTK, get rid of back row, or get rid of like a Draco's Act that cannot be destroyed. It's really good. And plus, you can digivolve him into M7. A lot of people underestimate M7. He is a machine. Light Machine in this deck is amazing. You can actually use this, bounce a card, overlay onto that, attack with a limiter removal for game. And then 101, just because everyone runs a 101. Volcasaurus, because you can abuse rank 5s in this deck. And then Gaia Charger, because you're running Volcasaurus. Lastly, we have Gachi Gachi. This card also goes off more than you think. When you bring back the Cyber Dragon cores with Cyber Network, they can't do anything, and you overlay into this and give your monster some boost. And then Gear Gigon X, because you will search for machines. And then we'll move on to fusion monsters. 1 Paracycloroid. Before I used to run Cyber, was it Dinosaur? Was it Cyber Tyrant?
Cyberstein.
No, not Cyberstein.
Sabersaurus.
Cybersaurus. And since he's not hollow and he is, I'm running him. Oh, and also a very cheap trick you can do is Power Bond 2 Cyber Valleys into this guy. He will attack directly for 36. And then Cyber Dragon, Cyber End Dragon. This is your primary target if Cybernova gets destroyed. And then you have 2 Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. This is against people that make Dracosac against you, or if you have DNA surgery on the field. If they make Dracosac, make tokens, they all go to the graveyard. You won't get the attack boost for the tokens, but Dracosac will be off the field, and you'll be setting on a 2000 monster. And lastly, Cyber Twin Dragon, win condition. When you power bond this guy out and they have no answers, they die. And this is your Chimera Tech Over Dragon. The last card in the extra deck. He can also OTK when he comes out. He is you have to make him via the Overload Fusion. And when Overload Fusion, this is something you can abuse in this deck. That when you bring him out, by banishing every single card in your graveyard, because you're running all machines, and when he comes out, he will blow up everything on your field except himself, and you can set the Cyber Network, and he'll blow him up, and so whatever you just removed comes right back on the field, and you just go from there and kill people. So that's it for the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. If you liked it, click subscribe, like, what have you, and thanks again for Team DDN?
DDN.
DDN for inviting me to do this deck profile. Have a good one.